Hi, welcome to Reality Speaks TV. This is the SisStar Cipher. My name is Sparkle, and I'm here with my lovely co-host today. I'll give them an opportunity to say their names and introduce themselves. But first, I want to say thank you to the CLC, which is Carol L. Crooms Becca Business, Education, Cultural, and Activity Center. This is our first time being from home and coming in to a community space. And so thank you to the Mohammeds and this center for having us and hosting us today as we talk about important topics. So tonight marks something sacred. We are bringing light to what has often too much have been hidden in silence, shame, and solitude. This is SisStar Cipher Live, and we are here to speak truth, release burdens, and walk through this shift together. Pre-menopause, also called perimenopause, is the body's transition stage before menopause. Hormones like estrogen and hormones like estrogen and progesterone begin to change, and with them becomes the waves like hot flashes, woof, night sweats, mood swings, brain fog, fatigue, emotional sensitivity emotional sensitivity, and so much more. It can last for years. Menopause is what we've been going through. Menopause is when we go through 12 full months without a period. And while some symptoms ease, many continue, and new questions emerge about our health, relationships, and identities. This shift is not a curse, it's not a flaw, it's sacred. It's powerful and it's worthy of being seen, spoken, and supported. So tonight, we share stories, we affirm one another, we make space for truth, for laughter, for tears, and for healing. And most importantly, we are not alone. So, welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us
Thank
tonight.
you, Sparkle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I just want to take the time and opportunity to just give everyone an opportunity to tell me your name, listen to the audience, your name, and why did you choose to be a part of this conversation? And I am going to start with order of appearance, Sister Tioka.
Thank you. What was the question again?
Who you are,
Mhm.
one word or color that describes how you're feeling. And why did you decide to even join this type of conversation about menopause and perimenopause?
Okay, what was that again? So now I'm saying that because when you're going through what you're going through, sometimes you got to repeat yourself a couple of times because it start messing around with, you start thinking you're getting old because you start forgetting pretty quick. Like, what did you just say again? Or what did I come in this room for? Or what was I about to do? What was I about to say? Wait, what's that word I'm looking for? Uh, 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 yeah, toaster. Yeah. So why I'm here is because, like many women before me and many women after me, we are going to go through that shift that actually starts before we even realize that we're going through a hormonal constant shift. So I know what I'm going through. I know what I'm experiencing and what I have experienced, and I knew that I wanted to have a conversation with others who are not only going through but have been through, so that we can put it out there, so that those that are going through or going to go through know that this is something that can be talked about, and it's okay to talk about. It's not taboo. It's not a hush conversation. This is stuff that we tend to suffer in silence.
Mm.
And I wanted to be a part of a group of discussion with a group of women that is okay with breaking that vow of silence and like really talk about what's going on with us mentally, physically, and emotionally. My name is Sister Tioka. I am the program director for the Carol L. Crooms Becca Center. I welcome you to this space. I am channeling my mother-in-law, Carol L. Crooms, powerful woman, and the legacy that she leaves or that she continues to lead as we do the work that she's inspiring us to do with the help of God. And I'm very happy to be here and to have friends and family here to share in this discussion.
Yes. Lovely.
How do I follow that? That was beautiful. Like, seriously, I'm like, wait, everything was there. I'm Heather Wazalewski. I run a platform in the community called Every Voice. I teach people how local politics works, how to use their voice. I break down legislation for people to help them understand it, because at a local level, that's where things are attainable and accessible, and we can see real change happen. So that's part of some of the things that I do. But that's important to me. One of the reasons why I want to be part of this conversation today was because the emotions that I've started to feel, the change that happens that used to be just a couple days that have turned into now 2 weeks. Feeling sad, feeling angry, ADHD, foggy, like you said, all these things are happening to me. And I'm trying to explain to people why it's happening, but I don't understand why it's happening. So you go to your doctor and you say, listen, this is all happening. Oh, you're just going through perimenopause. But I'm like, what can I do for it? Is there things that we can start doing now? Do we change our diet? Is there ways that we can change this? I mean, I accept it, but how do I accept it? So being here tonight and being around people where we can talk about things like that's why I'm here. So
Amen. Wonderful.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Clarita Titus, and I'm a friend of Tioka and Sparkle.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to be here to share some of my thoughts on what I went through with perimenopause and menopause itself. I went through the gauntlet of it, the whole bunch of things that I did not understand in the beginning. It was not explained to me by my mom very accurately. So I went to the doctors and told the doctor what was going on with me. And this one of the strangest things that was going on with me was I told my doctor, I feel like I want to kill my husband. And that was so scary to me. It's like, explain why I'm feeling like I hate my husband when I love him so much.
Right.
And he said mine was pretty extreme. So he explained to me that I probably should go on hormone pills for a little bit. So I did do that. And it did calm down because I wouldn't have had a job or a husband if I didn't do that.
Wow.
So I did go on those for a time, and it did help with the hot flashes and the anger feelings. And that was just a perimenopause.
Wow.
Then when I got into menopause, that's a whole new thing for me. I went through a lot with menopause, and I still am presently going through some of the hot flashes.
And I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. And you.
And me. I am Reverend Dr. Diane Hodges. I'm the pastor of Agape Ministries here in Utica, New York. And one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of this, because a lot of times it's something that we don't talk about. And people kind of blunder through trying to figure out what's going on as their body's doing all these changes. A lot of people are happy that they don't have to worry about getting a period anymore or getting pregnant anymore. But there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with all that's happening. And I just want to share some of my thoughts with you all tonight. And that's why I'm here.
Oh, wow. Thank you for coming. And last but certainly not least,
my apologies for my tardiness.
just in time.
My name is Tiffany Davis, and I am a local real estate agent, and I work with my husband for a business that we call Helping Young People Excel, where we hire mentors to work with the youth in our community. And really good friends with Miss Tioka. I love her. And we often, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. One of the things that we often do when we see each other is, once we get past the hugs and kisses and all that stuff, we end up sharing what we're going through. And oftentimes especially as of late, we've been sharing the hormonal things, the premenopause, the menopause stuff, and I think we get into some really good, candid, open, honest conversations. And Tioka has always said, like, we need to share this more. Other women need to hear this. And so, I've had a journey of it myself. I know the feeling of, I used to want to take my husband's eyes out. Like, I wanted to grab him. And for no reason. No, he's so lovable, so we don't understand our emotions at first, and we think something's wrong with us, and we suffer in silence, and then we'll have conversations or do some research. At least, I've been able to do that and found some supplements that have worked for me that I would love to share my story on that. But anywho, why I'm here is for those reasons, the same things that you all have said, and how important it is to be honest and share, and to help women who are going to go through it and who are going through it right now. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That was belabored, but yeah.
Thank you for coming, all you ladies. That was wonderful. Thanks for sharing and being so transparent and available. So for me, the reason why I wanted to do it, well, first of all, I found out that I was going through perimenopause through my doctor. So I had all these symptoms, but my cycle, I came in and told her, well, I was planning to tell her about my cycle, how it's been skipping. I have it for, when it comes, I have it for 3 weeks to a month, and then it won't come for 2 months, and then it comes again. So I came in there, the first thing she says to me is, how's perimenopause? And I'm like, huh? Never heard of it. Never knew what it was. I'm 44, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's the fun part. You'll see." And then she's talking about it. So like Tiffany doing some research on my own, having a conversation with Sister Tioka. She's like, how old are you?" Like she's like, "No, you're not bugging. That's actually symptoms of perimenopause." So talking to Tioka, talking with Reverend Hodges, like, Reverend, come on, I need you to come teach me. Tell me what it's like. There's no manual for it, right? Like, please. So this is the reason why I wanted to have this, to be able to have different perspectives, and people offering their symptoms and how they cope with it, because I don't want people to feel like they're bugging. And to the killing a husband part, I don't have a husband, but I do have a partner who I probably tried, to do some things too, and it's all because we don't know. So a lack of knowledge is really what I would like to share, some knowledge for people to know that we're not bugging, we're not crazy, we're going through a sacred transition. Okay, so I actually have some prompts, some thoughts, and I also have some affirmations. And Sister Tioka will be reading us some affirmations here and there at the top to remind us who we are.
Yep. And I'm going to go with the first one. I am powerful, even in my pause. Whatever that means.
Menopause. So now I just want to talk about, we talked about it briefly, but I want to talk about it more. You ladies, feel free to flow. We all respect each other's space. What are some of the symptoms that you had before you even knew that it was perimenopause and menopause? You said some, but I want to be more specific, because some people think that they have mental health conditions, and Sister T, as a personal trainer and wellness coach, a little bit about these symptoms, a little bit more than what's listed of the things that I said, right?
Yeah, what really got me is the irrational thinking. Like when you really, it really don't make sense what you're thinking. Yeah. But you really trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Like what you said, you was like, I wanted to kill my husband, but I love him so much. That makes absolutely no sense. Like how can you like in your mind, you like rationalize it? So I think that's when I started to recognize that, there's something deeper going on that I don't have control of. Now, I consider myself a very logical, practical, analytical person that thinks through things. I could be emotional, but it's usually attached to my cycles coming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we already been through that for so long that we know that, I'm being a messin'. Mm-hmm. But this is a little different.
Yes.
It's a little bit different because your mind tells you you know what's happening to your body, right? Because you're about to have your cycle. But it's like you don't have control over your thoughts. Like, who's taking control of my thoughts?
Yes.
So that's when I was like, it's something else. So I was getting hot flashes and stuff, but I wasn't recognizing it. Like, my cycle has been regular. It has always been regular. I haven't had a long cycle. I had the same symptoms all the time. I get a migraine every now and then. I knew my diet, if I ate something like too, heavy carbs or too much of sugar and stuff like that, I knew my cramps was gonna be worse. I was doing it to myself. Like, I knew, okay, yeah, I'm about to have this whole chocolate bar because I'm craving, obviously it's a vitamin B thing, right? And chocolate is that love, it produces that, make you feel good. I knew I knew it was a nutritional imbalance, but I also know that if I eat this chocolate, I'm gonna have some crazy cramps. But I would do it anyway. That for me, I felt like I was more in control there. But the irrational thoughts is when I knew this is something else. I couldn't think my way through
It's
it.
very scary.
Yeah.
I feel like every month, and I told Tioka this, we were out I think last weekend, I saw her out and I said, I think every month I want to divorce my husband. I think we
Absolutely.
might have talked about this too.
Absolutely.
And I don't even know, but I know it's coming. I'll call him at work and I'm like, I just feel like you don't love me anymore. And you don't appreciate me. You don't think I'm pretty. And he's sitting out there like, what is happening here? And I'm
Yes.
like, do you think we're working?
And they look at us like we've lost
And
our
he's like,
minds.
you're going to get your period. And I'm like, no, I'm past that.
Yeah.
But but I don't want to call up, but I can feel it happening
Right.
and coming up. And I don't,
On the count.
I know he loves me, but it's just what,
Yeah.
Mine thought that I hated him.
yeah.
Felt like I did, but I didn't.
Mhm.
It's out
Yeah.
of control.
Yeah, you look like the enemy because it's like you're not the same person
Yeah.
Mhm.
with this up
Yeah,
and
It
down.
was very
That's
hurtful
right.
to me to treat him that way.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about with your kids? I mean, does it pour to your kids
Mhm.
too? Because I
Mhm.
feel
The mood.
that happening with my son, like, you're annoying me.
Mm.
And that's weird. I love my son. My son is
Right.
great. He's an
Right.
amazing child. But sometimes I'm like, I feel like he's annoying me. And I'm just getting into this now. So I'm falling into this. And I don't say, but I don't want him to feel that. I
That's
don't want to
right.
feel like he can't hug me. We have this beautiful relationship. But lately it's been sometimes like I feel like he's bothering me. I love my son,
I feel like,
everybody.
yeah,
I love him. He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
We
But-
perfectly
But
understand.
I feel like I'm like ADHD. I get away from me. I don't have time for this. Everyone leave me alone.
Right.
But the mood swings are very difficult,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
one point you're feeling this way, and then another point you're feeling the complete opposite,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
your loved ones are in the middle trying to figure out what the heck is
Absolutely.
going on.
Like in the
with you.
war, like in the middle
Yeah,
of the war.
I find myself like screaming heads off, and I can see the heads popping, rolling down, and then next thing you know, I'm like, "Come give me a hug."
Right.
And I mean, that can be totally confusing for a child
Yeah.
and your husband. It's like, I don't know which way to go.
And I think for me, before I got to the more snapping, like, want to pop their head off kind of thing, like, boop, I went through like depressed state. So I was
Mm.
Oh yeah, the depression.
but it wasn't the normal, like what I've known. Cause I mean, I've been able to heal from depression over the years. This was something different. I couldn't think. I had no thought process to anything. If someone said, well, how are you doing? I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know, like almost like emotionally flatlined. So I knew, now looking back, I know that was the start of it for me. Was I can't think, like I used to say, if I was in a paper bag, I couldn't get out. I wouldn't even know how to rip the paper to get, like, what's going on. And so that was what made me begin to feel like something is really major, like something major is wrong with me. When you don't have the creativity, when you don't have, the ability to think and plan and prioritize. I'm like, which one should I do first? I don't know. So work suffered, home life suffered, and yeah. So for me, the beginning for me going into perimenopause was that season. The mind was there. Now getting in, having low or having lack of patience or low patience, like that came too, but not before the other mental part for me.
I just want to say something that says, I am not broken. I am becoming. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
No, that's a
a
good
comment from the audience.
Yeah.
If they want to chime in.
Does anyone from the audience have anything they want to say at this point? This is the opportunity. If you could just feel free. And if you need any assistance, there's some index cards on your seat. Feel free to grab one if you need help.
Well, very frank. Speak very frank. You just got to deal with it.
Yes.
You got, at least you know what it is. You know what it is. But you also have to speak to your partner.
Yeah.
And let them know your mood swings.
Yep.
Because that's very important.
Yeah.
Because I got caught off guard. My phone rang and I picked up the phone and I said, hello. And this boy said, what's wrong with you? So, what you mean, what's wrong with me? That was my mother.
Mm.
Okay. And then I said, oh, Lord. I said, can you call me back? I said, I'll call you back later. I had to hang up with her because I was in that thing. And I couldn't, there was nothing I could do about it, until it went away. As far as the hot flashes and all that stuff, I lift up the window. In the wintertime, cool off, and then get hot, put it back
Oh,
down.
that part.
Take off the gentleman's a nightgown, change of, sweats. I went through when I was like in my 30s.
Wow.
So it was it lasted like a little too long for me.
Mhm.
Because I got tired of driving a car, in the snow and everything, and got the windows all rolled down, coat half off, and then turn around, and then you gotta put it back on. I didn't take any medication or anything for mine. I just went cold turkey. I just went through the whole thing.
I had a very surprising part for myself is I thought I was done. At a certain point, I had no symptoms. Everything was going good. I said, I'm finally done with menopause. Well, menopause surprised me. It came back with a vengeance. I don't know why it came back like that, but I started getting hot flashes again. I started getting the foggy brain, not concentrating, severe depression. I didn't understand that. So I'm going through that now, and I'm 68 years old. So I don't understand why I'm still going through what I'm going through.
That's interesting.
It's scary. It scares me.
Do you remember when it started, like your first symptoms of was you in the 40s?
Perimenopause?
Yeah.
My late 30s, early 40s.
Late 30s, early
Mhm.
40s. Okay. Wow.
I'm gone once in a while, once in a blue moon. It caught me off guard. I said, what am I doing with hot flashes? At my age, you know what I mean? At my age, 88, what am I doing with hot flashes? And once in a while, once in a blue moon, it'll come up.
Right. Wow.
It don't go away. It don't go away. Yeah.
They don't.
They come and visit every now and Yeah, then.
They do.
Absolutely, every now and then.
And then there's one more thing I want to say. Is it okay?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
excuse me.
oh,
I was
okay.
trying to tell them to get the
Um,
audience because
you
the
know.
audience looks so beautiful.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to bring up sex because
Yeah.
your sexual desires come and go as well with menopause. And, that's a revelation that it takes it away. And it's like, why don't I have any desires anymore? Then it came back with a vengeance again. And I didn't understand that either. It's like, I was so strong with my sexual desires, it scared me too. So it's like, what is happening? 1 minute, I don't want to be bothered. And the next minute, I felt like I could, attack a person.
Wow, that's
So that's scary.
It's those two words I mentioned earlier. I'm not gonna try it again, but testosterone for testosterone. Are the hormones that fluctuate and kind of
And
get us
they
off
did.
balance, and they come and go, and so it's interesting that you brought that up because I'm going through that now. Like when they say it's like low libido, and I'm like, wait, hold on a minute, like what's going on here? Are you okay? And I'm going through these changes, but it's also physical changes too.
Yes.
Like before, I used to get on a 7-day fast or a diet and work out, and this weight is gone in like
Yes,
2 weeks.
that too.
Now I'm doing all I can do plus more, and the weight not going anywhere. My stomach, I'm like, oh, hold on. So it's these physical changes. Now I got this thyroid goiter, like right here. I got a
Yes.
third neck. It's just like all of these things, and I'm looking in the mirror. I used to stare at myself in the mirror, and now I'm not. So it's just that's why I'm here, ladies. What you got to say to me, Reverend?
Hang in there.
Okay.
It may seem like it lasted for a long time, but it does not last forever.
It did not last forever.
I should hope so.
So I have a question because
Yes.
according to what they say as far as the difference with perimenopause and menopause, during the perimenopause stages, your hormones are going up and down, right? And if you're not conscious, you don't even know, you're tripping out. That's where we kind of like have those thoughts that are irrational. But then once you hit menopause, it says that the hormones stabilize, but they're at a low level.
Mm.
So I'm not there yet, so I don't know what that I don't know what that low. I know what low level looks like during this. I can tell, right? But for somebody going through menopause or have gone through the change in the sense of it's been 12 months plus that you have not had a cycle, and that means you're in menopause. How does that look to have the low? What does the low look like?
The low.
Well, let's see if I can describe the low. The low is looking at yourself differently, not liking some parts of you mentally, physically, trying to struggle to stay up so that you can keep your family together, and yourself. And me, I found exercise that did help me greatly, but sometimes that wasn't even enough. So I don't know. I mean, that's part of my low.
Yeah, no. So low. When I say low, I mean the hormones. The hormones now estrogen is low. So they would say, eat food or take supplements to produce more estrogen because now you're not on that wave, right? You're menopause. So the low is low estrogen.
So for me, I know, and so December was a really low place for me, right? So I found myself, like you said, you're looking at yourself and you see these changes. You see, I mean, we're candid, I guess, in here.
Yeah.
You have changes with your areolas. Is it called areolas? Your nipples, right? You have changes with your vagina, your vaginal dryness, and all that.
Dryness.
Your hair changes, your hair comes out, your falls out, even your hips and things change.
Widen.
You got me with that one. When
So,
you said that
with the
Widen.
with the hips,
your stomach may now sag a little more like that. And so, the collagen, like all kind, like just we're going through so many things. And I know for me, I had a moment of the sensation was was different, right? And I'm where is it?
Wow.
It's different.
Where is it?
Where is
It's
it?
different.
And I was up like at 3 a.m. I'm crying, and I have 2 menopause books. I'm going through like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And it's all this. I feel like men wrote it, and I remember
Yes.
I threw the book. I threw it. I said, stupefying book. Like, what do I need from me? And so at that moment, I began, I prayed and I began a little journey. And so I shared with my daughter and my aunt what I was going through. I said, I'm tired of suffering by myself. I said, some of it is a little shameful to say, when you talk about the physical feeling, like, how do you share that with someone?
Yeah.
Right.
And so I cried, and they cried with me. And my daughter went upstairs and she gave me a box and she said, Mom, I've been thinking about you, and I got you this for Christmas, and I'm gonna give it to you now. And I was like, well, what is it? So I brought it with me, so I want to show it just really quick.
Okay, very
And not
good.
that I'm not getting paid for this endorsement. So this was it.
Oh, I heard about that.
O positive is one is vaginal moisture. We'll talk about that. And then this one is the menopause one. And so she said she's very into holistic healing and all these type of things. So I knew she had did her research on these. And she was like, I want you to start it now. I want you to start it now because I feel like you're at a place that you need some things, right? You need to be heard, you need to be seen, you need to take some supplements to see if this helps. And so all I can say is that since December, I don't know if anybody wants to read that. I've, along with this and along with other mental, emotional, heart work, I'm better. I feel better. I feel stronger. I feel more beautiful. I feel like myself. So as far as the moisture and all that other wonderful things, that's pretty good too, right? But a lot of what's in there is really for like those the emotional part of it. And so in my low place, nobody knew I was there, and I suffered silently just by myself. I felt like it was just like a dark cloud, like just and I didn't know how to get out there. So get out of it. So all I'm trying to say is like being honest, like doing these type of things and sharing with our family, sharing with people that we could trust, taking supplements if that's what you so desire, working out. Someone said working out. That's the other thing that I decided to do too. And I'm also eating healthier. And so from that time to now, I think I've lost, I don't know, about 8 pounds or whatever. And again, libido is better. I feel more balance is all I'm trying to say.
Very good. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Color. My body speaks, and I listen with love. And your earrings, though.
Yeah.
Yes, love was a part of
It's
this
beautiful.
L-O-V-E.
that's for us.
Yeah.
Self-love.
How about you ladies listening? You want to chime in any way? There's some index cards on the seat if you feel like you might need a prompt or two to help lead you into what you want to say.
Mine says, if my body could speak right now, it would say, I wish I knew now what I knew maybe 30 years ago. Because I went into early menopause I went into pre-menopause at the age of 21. Because I had my right ovary removed, so that automatically throws you into pre-menopause.
Yep.
And when I had a total hysterectomy because I had ovarian cancer at the age of 26, that just threw me into menopause medically. So I didn't know what I was going through at such a young age, having a child, having a family, not knowing all the stuff that y'all talking about is what was affecting me at such a young age. And a lot of people, I don't know about a lot of people, but young people that are 26 or 27 that may have to go through such a detrimental thing in their life, I hope that they're listening to this and have an understanding of what they can do to help them out, because it was so many things going on at that time that I didn't even know about. Like my significant other and I were always at odds with each other, not knowing what was going on. I think a lot of men need to hear these type of conversations that way they could understand what's going on. Have some type of knowledge, like, yeah, she's just tripping right now. It's just that menopause. Let me let her go. It's the Perry's on.
Yeah.
A lot of men need to understand that, and I hope and pray that they listen to this, and I hope that a lot of young people that medically may have to be induced into these type of situations are listening to this too. Because that was something I knew even up to now. Sometimes I think it, but I'm not. Like I thank God, like I'm truly grateful to God that I haven't had like the hot flashes or not yet. I haven't had like when you bust out in sweat and that type of stuff. But I did have like depression, the you know, the happy with mixing with the sad and the savage part. Like, hey, how are you? I'm trying to get out this stuff. So those type of things affected my affected my relationship with my significant other. Thank God he was the type of person that loved me so much that he still loves me. You know, we still have this bond with each other, love for each other. And it just that right there, and I didn't even know what was going on, especially at 21. I'm like, oh, okay. All he told me was it slipped to none that you could have children. I'm like, all right, you don't have the last say in this anyway, but okay, yeah. And then I'm like, all right, well, slim to none. And then I had my son, and then after that, 2 years later, I had to have a total hysterectomy, and when that threw me into menopause, and not only that, it did like my body dysmorphia was just crazy because I used to have big hips, wide hips. Not having the estrogen looked like somebody hit me with a deep frying pan and hit my hips on both sides and was like bam bam. No more hips for you. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm starting to appreciate my body more so now than ever. You know, I went and I had a tummy tuck done because I knew that if I didn't do this type of stuff, that I would have like a big stomach because I don't have the estrogen or anything or progesterone or nothing. So my stomach would have been huge at such a young age. So I was like, you know what? Let me go out here, let me get this done. And then I'm happy I did it because it was something for me to do for myself, you know. So this changes that change in your body, the change in your dryness, all of that happened to me at such a young age. And now I'm at an age now where I'm like, I'm okay now. I'm good. I'm okay. You know. So I just wish what my body say. My body says, thank God that you still walking and talking. You're alive. You don't have to deal with some of those hot sweats and the itchiness and all of that. But I wish I knew what I knew now to help myself with the herbs and stuff like that.
My journey through change is sacred, not silent.
Right.
Amen.
So perimenopause is the stage before menopause where your hormones begin to shift. It can last for years. You may still have periods, but they become irregular. Symptoms include hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, brain fog, and changes in libido and sleep. Menopause officially begins when you've gone 12 months without a menstrual cycle. Estrogen and progesterone levels drop significantly. Postmenopause, the years after menopause, symptoms may still linger or evolve and health risks shift. So, Reverend Hodges,
Yes, ma'am.
postmenopause. Is it safe to say that you're postmenopausal?
It's certainly safe to
Okay.
say because I'm proud to say that I am 78 years old.
Wow.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. Now ask me the question again.
Run that back again.
So you heard all about us talking about symptoms. You even went through the symptoms. So I said to myself, if I see anybody who is postmenopausal, I'm going to give them a bow. So here you go.
You survived.
You survived menopause.
Now, I have to be honest and completely honest that it was not that bad for me. It was not that bad for me. I'd had a hysterectomy early in my life, and it was not that bad for me. I think it might have been more bad for some of my family members because they also come to me to seek advice, and I can only tell them, you know, certain things like, before you go to bed at night, drink some water. Drink some water. Put on some things that you can pull off when you start getting hot and you can be comfortable in your bed.
Excuse me.
Carry a portable fan.
Mm.
It works. It works.
Definitely. I have one in my bed with me that I keep in my bed with me.
Wow.
And just like that,
Y'all need one of these. That's real.
That's real.
Okay.
I love you, but I don't need it. I love you, but I don't need it no more. Okay, it's all right.
I'm wondering if
So
one
there
of
is
us will
hope.
break out
There
right
is hope.
now, like, break
The
out
one
in a
thing-
sweat.
excuse me. I just want to say, the one thing I do want to say is that everybody is different. Nobody is
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
So, everybody's not going to get the same symptoms. You're going to get what you're going to get,
Yes.
individually. So,
That's interesting. I wonder with the people who have no symptoms, like how can they even be, well, how can they relate to someone who's going through symptoms? I was told from another lady that is 60 that she never had a symptom at all, not a hot flash, not anything. So I'm wondering, while we're struggling or while we're talking about it, how did we land on menopause being it, Heather? For example, we're talking about it, right? But how did you know with all your ups and downs or changes that you're going through, how did you know it was menopause?
Perimenopause.
Perimenopause, excuse me.
Because usually any kind of mood swings or anything, I'd have to be like a few days before I would get my period. These are now 2 weeks before. And I'm like, but this is not adding up. This isn't right. And I was going through this process for a while. And that's when I said I went to my doctor and I said, and also was getting sweats at night too. And that's when he said, well, you're going through perimenopause. And I'm like, honestly, I didn't even know really what that was.
Right.
This was probably 7 or 8 years ago. So I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, well, that's all they tell you. You're just going through it. This is just what it is.
yeah.
And you're like, well, I wanted more. Like I said that before. But that's how I knew because this was like I said, calling out my husband, asking for a divorce or angry and just feeling beyond frustrated and it lasting for 2 weeks. So I know every month I'm gonna have 2 weeks where I'm just aggravated, angry, upset, and so that's how I knew that this isn't right. This is definitely not right.
Yeah. Well, for me, I actually told my doctor I was going to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before your doctor could tell
Yeah.
you.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Because I just started doing research. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And so it's funny because and it was a new doctor, because one thing about like in your childbearing years, you tend to just deal with OBGYN. Like you don't necessarily have general practitioner as your doctor because you deal with, women health. And so my OBGYN, he passed away actually during COVID, like right before COVID. And I didn't find another one. So I have a practitioner, a regular general practitioner. And it was a gap in time before I went back to the doctor. When I first met him, he did the screening, the blood, and try to find out a little information about me. They ask all the questions, and he was like, "Oh, really good health. You're doing, keep exercising. You're doing good. You're doing good." And in the second, I had to do a follow up. In the second one, he was trying to throw all these tests at me with, you're at the age where you need to, you should have gotten mammogram, this, and that. I was like, oh, I feel like I need to get that. And then I said to him, I said, but I don't think I'm going through perimenopause for sure. I'm like, there's something different about me. And he looks at my chart and he says, oh yeah, absolutely. You probably been was going through this.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know.
I'm like, yeah, no, I discovered, can I get a pay cut? You know what I mean? Like, can I get a cut? Because I discovered it on my own. And he was like, yeah. Like, when did you have your last child? Yeah, most likely, yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is because
You've been went through that. You've been going through it.
Right.
Do you offer you any pain medicine for it or any kind
Well, I am a self-medicated person.
Okay.
Like I will like study it and be like, okay, so if this is happening because of this, then okay, I gotta stop doing this and do a little bit more of this. So one thing as a personal trainer, I learned that to produce more estrogen in my body, I needed to do specific type of workouts. So I did those specific type of workouts. One of them, which is squats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so squats will produce more estrogen in your body. And so that's how but sometimes with that whole brain thing,
Yeah.
and then the balance of the cortisol.
That.
Yeah.
That stress hormone is crazy because I have you craving everything and not wanting to do anything.
That's
You
the other
know
one. It's
what you're supposed to
horrible.
do. You know exactly. I got the formula in my mind. I got the formula written on paper, but that cortisol and then
It's a real thing.
it'll just make you feel like
No, that's another one too.
Yeah.
That's my no motivation or
I want to eat and
That's
lay
right.
around.
Yep, eat and lay around.
That's
That's
all
what
I
you
want.
want to do.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to go exercise.
That's right.
And lately I've been winning that.
It makes you feel better.
Good.
It makes you, and this is not a plug. Like when I found Zumba was like 15 years, almost 15 years ago, the release that I felt from exercising, like carefree exercise, just let your hair go. What I used to say on this, I used to say, feel the music and let loose. I just,
Yes,
whew,
it's the truth.
it definitely did. That was medicinal for me. But then when that started to slow down, then I was on my own. And being on my own, I mean, I was battling to get something else. And that's that whole motivation. That's the whole cortisol, surge. And then you start to see things protrude a little bit more than what you
That's right.
Yeah. But when you said to me about the hips,
Yes.
and I was like suffering for months, like, why do my hips hurt? I
Yes.
thought it was the bed.
Unbelievable.
I'm shifting and shifting
That's
it.
what's going on.
And when you said that, I said that makes all the sense. I started to do more squat to produce
need to
more
do that,
estrogens.
Yeah.
To produce more.
So what are some other exercises besides
Any
squats?
low body exercise is going to produce estrogen.
Okay.
Any upper body exercises will produce testosterone.
Okay.
That's good to know.
So that would be like sit to stands, like you just get up and
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Leg ups, side, like Jane
Yes.
Fonda's.
Yes.
Y'all know the Jane Fonda's, right?
Yes.
And the crazy thing, they're hard to do.
What's
Yes.
the Jane Fonda?
Jane Fonda's are so I said that lady with that thing she used to, which is leotard, and she used to lay on the floor and she used to kick her leg up.
Okay.
She started a big revolution.
She did,
Oh.
but that will help produce estrogen.
That's interesting. Okay. Because so for me, my hips started hurting just last week, and I'm same thing. It's in my bed, and then now I feel like I'm paralyzed in the back from here to here. I'm like, what's going on?
Talk about the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve.
Woo.
You gonna have to talk about it because you just told me about it. And then I'm telling Sister Tio all of these symptoms. She like, well, you got you some supplements, and I'm like, who is that? Magnesium. I'm like, who?
Magnesium. Yeah.
So these are things that we need to help us with our bones, and so we're gonna talk about that. Why don't you talk about it now? Like, let's talk about so many things, supplements, and also that you asked about the exercise. Let's talk about some solutions. We have a question. Before we talk about.
What's the
So the vagus nerve. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all a actual definition, but it's a nerve that's in it. You ever like feel like it's like something going on here that you can't nobody touch it, can't nobody really massage it out. It's the vagus nerve, and I'm give you the actual definition of what that is.
And I want to say it has something to do too with the
connection to the stomach.
Yes, with the connection to the stomach. Yes.
And that's where when we get bad news or we're stressed, we feel it in our stomach. Yeah.
And then the cortisol with the vagus nerves. Oh, my nerves.
Yeah.
So did you have something that you wanted to state too?
Yes.
Right after the vagus. Okay. Yeah.
I think it would be good to have the men on too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The men.
Yeah, like how do they
They have a
how they
pause
cope
too.
with
Well, first I want to say that menopause starts with men.
Yeah.
The menstrual cycle starts with men. I mean,
You're going good up until that point. Everything was good up until that point.
Now we know why.
right.
It's all coming together.
So let me give you a vagus nerve fact real quick. So the origin of the vagus nerves rise from the medulla. I cannot pronounce that. It's in the brain stem. Okay, the pathways exist It exits the skull through the jugular, foramen, and travels down the neck, chest, and abdomen. Right? This includes the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the intestines, and other abdominal nerves. Right? Here's what's the key to it: cardiovascular health, high digestive health, immune system health, mental health, gut brain axis, like the vagus nerve control all of that. And when that's off, you feel it. You actually feel it, but it feels like it's something in your neck going down that you actually can't.
Yeah.
You can't like
Can't get to
get it. You
it.
can't get to it. Um, the vagus nerve stimulation, so it causes depression, chronic inflammation, anxiety disorder.
Wow. Wow.
So gut health is important.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
Gut health
Gut
is
health,
So
yeah.
important.
So in summary, it said the vagus nerve is essential for maintaining homeostasis across multiple organ systems through its sensory, motor, and parasympathetic function. Its influence on physical health, mental well-being, and inflammation underscore its importance in the medical research and therapeutic intervention. So it's a really central nerve that actually links to everything. And when that is, it's not that it's pinched, it's like aggravated, and stress aggravates it. But then
Hormonal changes.
hormonal change aggravates it. So that's like exercises for that too. But the best exercise is actually your diet. And also, when she talk about the supplements, I have to give kudos to my husband because he's like a awesome researcher. So we're not really into promoting, like I'm not going to promote vitamins and stuff like that because some of these vitamins are synthetic. And it has to pass through our system, which can cause even more problems, right? That's why they have warnings on it. But he was like, I've been anemic for a long time, and I tried all different kind of iron pills, and we all know what iron pills do to us if you don't have the right iron pills, right? Okay. I was so bad that I had to have a infusions. And the same thing with vitamin D. I was so bad at one point that I had to have a vitamin D lamp.
Wow.
But he researched vitamins that were clean. And so the way that I take vitamins is not, it's not just like, okay, just take your vitamin. Like we grew up just taking vitamins, take your Flintstones, right? It's more or less like there's a deficiency. I'm not getting it in my foods, or I'm not getting it from being outside enough, especially during the winter time. Or I don't eat a diet that's heavy in iron, so I need to get these supplements. So it wasn't just the fact that I needed to take vitamins. It was I needed to know how to take vitamins and what's the deficiency. What is it, me not taking the vitamins? What is it doing to me? And a lot of the vitamins, like for instance, vitamin D is a hormone. It's a hormone.
Yeah.
It's a major thing if you're vitamin D deficient because it affects other vitamins, right? Um, Another one was magnesium. He put me onto magnesium, and I didn't know about magnesium, and I was kind of like shying away from it, but mainly because I don't like to be tired. And I remember when he first talked about it, and I took magnesium, and I took magnesium in the morning. That was not smart.
Take it at night. Help you sleep.
I felt like
Yeah.
I am too relaxed. And I'm always like, and that was the talk before, but knowing the benefit of it. So taking vitamins is one thing, but taking vitamins because you know that you're living in a time where a lot of things is nutritionally uh absent, right? Our foods, right? It helped me to balance what's going on with this perimenopause thing. That's how I feel. That's my therapy. So I don't necessarily subscribe to taking hormone therapies because I'm balancing out with my vitamins, striving to eat clean and exercise, right? And then eating good food and thinking good thoughts.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
Easier said than done sometimes, right?
well, then that's why we have to use each other. This is why we have to have these. We have to have a SisStar Cipher,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
A
yes.
sister circle that when we are on because we're going to go on those declines. You know, I remember plenty of times it's like just like I said, we just started talking, and it's like it's just the conversation, just the communication lifts you up out of that. You know, like you're not alone.
That's right. I wish some of y'all was here when I'm getting out of my bed to lift me up out that bed.
Ah!
Because my joints, it be the joints, y'all. Like, what is this hurting for? Okay, so Tiffany.
I take magnesium.
You take magnesium?
supplement, and it helps me with cramps in my legs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They get out of my legs. I used to have very bad cramps in my legs all the time. But did you take it at night time? Yeah,
You take it at night, so you see that was smart. Because I was walking around lethargic for the whole day. Would you?
Yeah, I would definitely take the magnesium at night. And those who are, especially like too, with the night sweats and stuff, it'll kind of help you go back to sleep. But the one thing I experienced after getting into menopause was I was no longer anemic. So having heavy periods forever, right? And which people say we're not even supposed to have heavy periods, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Right.
I wasn't anemic. I wasn't cold. I didn't have that pica where you just had random stuff. I used to want to eat like rocks. I don't know. I'm just sharing TMI, but it is. It's like like iron, like you know, we have low iron. You're just like, I need
some minerals and
something is missing. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I didn't eat
weird
it, but
cravings.
Weird cravings. I didn't eat it. But I guess one of the pluses is that, you know, perhaps when that time comes, we're not trying to rush nothing, you know, faster than what it needs to be, that you won't have that low iron like you're experiencing right now. But I definitely take vitamin D. These supplements have vitamin D, but I take 10,000, what is it, IUs or UI, however you say it, a day, along with the magnesium. And again, I know when I'm out and I haven't had it for a few days, I can, you know, maybe it's a placebo or whatever, I don't know, but I definitely feel the difference in my mood and, you know, just many other things. But yeah, vitamin D, magnesium, and hopefully you won't be anemic for the rest of your life.
That's right. Excuse me, Reverend.
Yeah.
But which one of those is for the wet?
The wet.
Coconut oil it's really a really good thing. You can use coconut oil everywhere. And I mean literally
like to moisturize
every.
No, you're for your hee just say it.
So cute.
Yes, so cute. But this is the one that is for.
Okay,
and
I got it.
I could say, like, I'm just like, if one a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 10, right? 10 is just normal, just she's sunshine and everything is just balanced, great. Before, so December, my low moment, before taking the one that's for the moisture, I would say it would be, I was like a 5 to 7. 7 would be if my mind's good, my emotional state is fine. 5 is if it's not, right? And that was like what the heck is going on with me, you know? But now I could just say it's just a normal, she's normal.
She's normal 10.
No, you're right. It's like a nice little, it's not a waterfall.
So boy.
What do we need?
And I'm trying to figure about the coconut oil. Do you eat it? Do you cook with it?
You can do everything with coconut oil. She's trying to. You can do everything
Yeah,
with everything, from the head to the toe. Okay, from.
And so, when you talked to us in the introduction, you mentioned about some things that you were taking, right? And I'm guessing that was prescription based.
Prescription.
So could you talk a little bit about that for those of us who might want to go that route? I wasn't offered the prescription yet.
When they gave me the pills, it was almost like a magic pill. I felt normal again. And I was in jeopardy of losing my job because I was yelling at people.
I can't imagine it. She's so sweet.
Right.
I know, I can't.
And, and so it was like a magic pill. It caused everything to kind of go back to normal for me. My moods, body-wise, feeling normal. Hello, feeling normal.
Wow.
All of that happened with the pill.
Okay. So do you take it like for a certain amount of years? Do you
Well, they do cut you off after. They don't suggest that you take it more than 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
All right, that's
So-
good to know.
Yeah.
My value is not tied to youth, but to my wisdom.
I like that.
I do
I like that too.
I have a comment, or
Okay.
I guess I want to shift the conversation. We're still on hormones. I don't know if you all caught Oprah's special when she talked about menopause.
I intended to.
I didn't catch it. I saw
I didn't
clips,
either.
but there was another one that she did when she was interviewing a doctor, and she said something that I knew already, but I said because she said it, I got to make sure I bring this into the discussion. We have, as women, we have been experiencing hormone fluctuations since when?
11.
Think about it.
10,
Yeah,
10, 11, yeah.
The first onset of the cycle.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And when you think about that, it really make you think differently about your childhood, the way you interpreted life experiences, the mood, the mood changes you've been, the decisions you made, which are based off of this. Then it makes you think about your children and what they're going through. When a child hits puberty, automatically they go through this.
Yeah.
It seemed more regular because we're just like, oh, you got your period. Okay. You're going to eat pads. Here's some chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you how to do it. But let me show you how to do it.
Mentally.
Yeah.
So what we see in society today, our youth are struggling.
Yes.
Our young ladies are struggling because we just look at it like, oh, it's her time. She's in a period.
She's moody.
She's moody.
Yeah.
But now as we're in this, at this age, with all that experience behind us, think about what they're going through with this hormone, right? How do they have keys to think their way through these decisions that they have to make, these interactions with peers, the liking of boys, the liking of themselves? Major identity crisis. So it's important that we have these conversations and we don't just put it in the box that, oh, it's perimenopause. Oh, it's menopause. It's mental health.
It is.
That's right.
It's
It's
That's
mental,
exactly what it
this
is.
is what we need to be talking about. So I just wanted to put that plug in.
Wow.
That was good.
I want to turn it
Thank
to
you.
the audience.
Mhm.
Gonna have a little bit about 20 minutes left. So any questions?
I think taking the medication, because I was off of medication at a young age. But when they said you only take for 5 years, I was off of like Romeva for everything. And I was going whole like no. And once he told me if you take 3 days, you take hormone therapy replacement, you can get breast cancer. I said, oh, I don't want it. So I never took anything for osteoporosis, none of that stuff. Because I was like, I'm finding a way to do this. Even at a young age, I always was like, no, I'll be all right, I'll be all right. But now that I think about it, if I did have something to help me out, maybe I wouldn't have been so like walking through like this with the fake, hey, how are you? But deep down inside, I was struggling, not knowing I was struggling. So sometimes it's okay, but with so many different, so much knowledge out there of what plants are, like the jewett plant is rich in vitamin K. It's so much good stuff in that jewett plant, and they sell it right at ShopRite on Bleecker Street. So go down there to ShopRite and look at some of these things and Google it on your phone real quick. And Jewett Leaf also helps with menopause and all that. Oh,
Wow.
all this stuff. But like I said, I wish I knew what I knew now. I would have taken some of those things, just for a little bit, just to take the edge off and stuff like that. So if you're out there, it's nothing wrong with it, but when you look at the side effects, it may cause diarrhea. You like, nah, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But at a young age, if you're like 20 something years old, you may want something just to take the edge off, along with working on your mental as well. Because just take something and not work on something with yourself and your mental, sometimes it doesn't help because you
Right.
just medicate yourself, and you need to also help with your knowledge base of your brain and knowing yourself as well.
Exactly.
So I think that's very important, is to take something and know that coconut oil is good, and those things that Tiffany shared. All these things are just things to put in your bag and say, what I want to do today. I'm gonna take this today. Coconut oil, I could use that anytime. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sneak off real quick and go throw some coconut oil on it and come back to it.
Nobody wants
So
No.
those
They're
things
gonna
that
know.
knowing that-
I'm about to say, they're gonna know. It smells like coconut oil. Go ahead. Oh, you gonna get the unscented kind? Got it.
Yeah. And then I use I take the oregano oil too, and drop 2 drops of oregano right in there because oregano is very strong. I take the oregano oil, I take that, I rub that right here on my back where your kidneys sleep, I rub it right there,
Oh,
real
wow.
quick, and I just try my best, and then not even taking Boniva and all the stuff that they were offering. Osteoporosis didn't hit, and I had a total hysterectomy at 26 years old, and I'm 48. And then the doctor's like, Chris, your bone density better than ever. At that time, I was taking this thing called osteo something that I got from Peter's Cornucopia, a liquid, and I was doing weight bearing exercises. Bone density was up to the top. And that's something that you experience too when you're in perimenopause and menopause.
Yes.
Your bone density starts to deplete. That's stuff. So taking that liquid along with the vitamin D, because you get so that way you can absorb it better. And weightlifting exercises definitely is what we need to do. And them squats, I'm gonna be up in there doing like 100 squats. Boost it and build it.
Right.
Boost it and build it. Thanks for sharing. That was a wealth.
I carry the stories of those before me, and I add my own.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Spark, I have a question for you.
Oh, sure.
So we did touch on it with our spouse, having spouses and children and family and stuff like that. How does communication, what's going on with you, play a part in interacting with other people?
That's a very good question because communication is my career, right? So I feel like I try to be as calculated in my thoughts. I take a time where I fast. There's some days that I discipline myself through fast, not eating, not listening to certain things, trying not to touch my device. It seems like it's impossible, but I try to put myself in certain things and say affirmations like we've been saying all day. I listen to my daughter, I ask her certain questions. I ask her specific questions. She doesn't know why she's asking these questions, but because she's so pure, I like to hear her perspective. So I really I lean on my children. I lean on my partner to kind of help redirect me. I lean on you, Sister Tioka. I lean on Reverend. I lean on everyone who's here today, who showed up. I lean on Tracy. I lean on people, and then I kind of isolate myself to process all that I've taken in, so I can communicate. And then I actually say a prayer before I touch any type of microphone, before I say anything to the masses. I might not pray when I say things to people I love, right? But when I'm talking to a crowd of people, one or two or more, I have to pray and ask God to lead me, to utilize me. So I really lean on a spiritual entity. I lean on God. and I lean on self-reflection, prayer, introspection, and the people who I care about the most. I'm really strategic about it because I have a personality that people say is kind of goofy, funny. I laugh a lot. I play a lot. I can be impulsive too. I've been impulsive since 14. Now that you mentioned that, that it happened when you get your cycle at first, and that's the time that I was 14. So I try to slow myself down, take it all in, retreat, and then pop back out. Sometimes you gotta pop out.
And show 'em.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Thank you for that question.
No, I just wanted to give obviously make us all think about that because one of the things is that we are inside, right? Because we're inside this body. But how do we communicate to the world? And you do a good job at that. Like when you're going through something, it's almost like apologetic but unapologetic. Like I'm just gonna be frank and honest. Right? This is where my head is, and just correct me if I'm wrong. Forgive me if and that's how she be. Like she be like, just can I just be candid? You know, like so, whatever, you know, but in reality it's like we have to be this way. Like what they say nowadays, it's like, oh, we have what's this, not standards, but what they call them. You gotta put up boundaries, right? So it's like that's a way that you could put up boundaries, like communicating. So like when we deal with our spouses, it's like, okay, the way my mind is thinking right now, you may not want to say that to me because you want to say it one way, but the way it's going to come inside here is going to be totally different. Let's just not go there. For me, I use humor. I'm like you know, I kind of use humor. And it's been working better than ever now that I'm more aware of what's going on with me. Because then it's like the other thing I said is like, you can't take everybody and everything personal.
No, you can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I have an open mind. You have to be
Oh my
flexible.
goodness. And once you discover that, then you're able to like be yourself. But my question was more or less like, how do you communicate to others that, you know, there's something like my son, like he's 12 years old now, so he knows when, you know, mommy even say like, I'm not in the mood. My cycle's coming.
Yeah,
He says, oh. And
Okay.
now I'm not using that. He don't really know what that means,
Right.
but he knows that I'm not the same person. He knows that I'm very edgy.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you know, at a young age, I guess I'm preparing him. But it's like in the past, I know for me, I always felt like I was in control, so I couldn't communicate that with my husband. Right. So whatever irrational stuff was going up in my head, I was trying to justify it. Right. Because ain't nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. But when you discover that there's something going on here that I'm not in control of, now I got to be like, wait, hold up, wait.
Yes.
It may not be you. It may be me. The way you're giving this to me is not going in the same way. I'm not receiving it the way you're trying to, you know. So that's why I brought that up.
And I've been in denial for a very long time too, about my mood swings, you know, about the changes that I've been going through, because it was hard for me to accept that I was going through these. So the denial was hurting more than helping. So when you told me about perimenopause, and when my doctor said it after you, as a matter of fact, then I started to kind of get some answers. You know, knowing is half the battle. So if I didn't know what was going on with me, so like you said, if you're a leader, you can't really necessarily say to your husband, listen, this is what's going on. So I kind of held it for a little bit, and it was really hard for me because I was in denial. But denial is a river, right? So I finally came out of that and started flowing, and here we are today. Before I go forward, though, somebody did have a question in the audience, and it was a male. Oh
No, I think
they have a question. Brother in the back.
I don't
know. I've been trying to get in, but you guys are flowing so hard. I just think maybe I'm out of place.
No, go right ahead.
Are you sure?
Glad that you're here.
I wanted to share something with you guys because, first of all, I'm going to say that my name is Kamal, and appreciate you guys, man. You've been very candid and open. Even though it should be a little awkward, you know, you have a couple men, three men among you.
We want men to be here.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you know, but it's mature that we're having this conversation. You feel comfortable enough to have it in front of men. I just wanted to say that out loud. That there are a couple men in the room and it's been some stuff said that is mature. I meant to say that. So what I wanted to share was it just had me curious. And so there is something for men. It's called andropause. I just learned that today. Um, and andropause refers to the gradual decline in testosterone levels in men, typically starting around age 30 and continuing with age. Symptoms of andropause can include fatigue, reduced libido or erectile dysfunction, mood swings or depression, loss of muscle mass or strength, increased body fat, sounds familiar, right? And trouble concentrating or memory loss.
Wow.
Okay. Um, just for the record, some doctors prefer terms like testosterone deficiency syndrome opposed to andropause because andropause is not a medical term. But let me just add on to that. I find that very interesting. And what's most interesting is a lot of us are not aware.
Mm-hmm.
We're not aware of the chemical changes like we've been talking about that our bodies go through many things. Women are just something different. I don't know. The yin and the yang is amazing. Like you create this child out of your body, but you go through bleeding every month. Like, make it make sense. And I tried to understand this all my life, and it just don't make sense to me. The law knows best, right? And now this menopause business, and there's a lot of things involved with that. We was kind of discussing it today, like, you no longer have to worry about if my period comes, am I pregnant or not? Now you have to worry about, am I changing life or am I pregnant? I'm just, missing those 3 or 4 weeks because it's happening. So that's that little added thing. You guys go through some stuff. And as a male, I don't know how many men really think this, but you guys go through some stuff that's just amazes me. That the body could go through that. But men, we don't pay that much attention, but the real attention should be paid on the psychology of it and what it does to our mental health. Because we go at each other. It could be a source of argument. We both going through it. You think because you going through it, and we don't even see the male going through it, right? He going through it too. I ain't going through nothing, you know how we do. I ain't going through that. I don't need nobody, I don't need nothing. No, we going through something too. I think men are more in denial. It's hard for you guys to be in denial because you're going through it physically, and it's obvious. But men are in denial, and it's the mental that controls everything. So if we can find some way to be at peace with it in our mind, then I guess the body will follow. That's all I have.
Thank
like
you.
it.
Good question.
Thank you.
And
Anyone else?
this young lady right here.
Share a funny story. When I could tell that I was starting to go through and my body was changing, you feel a certain way that time of month, right? But then after I got to be a certain age, I could tell a couple of days before, I could tell my body was changing and my mood was changing. And my mood, I'm like, oh, here it comes again. I know it's coming because my mood has changed. So I'm working. We're all working with this one lady, and she's driving everybody nuts. Mind you, she's driving everybody nuts. Everybody getting tired of the way she's acting. She doesn't want to work. She's complaining all the time. And everybody's getting really, really tired. So I'm like, and everybody always said, I'm the nice one. I'm all really nice. You never say anything bad. You're always so happy. You always this and that. And I'm like, okay, I got a plan. This is what I'm going to do. Next time my mood starts to creep up on me, I'm going to take care of this for everybody. So when the mood came, I told her off. And then everybody was fine after that.
So that's the good in the mood swing.
Use it for good.
That's right. So I don't think that we have too much more to say, but I did see you have some things written down, so I'll just make sure that you got everything before we close out. I want to
I did write
tap
some.
into your wisdom here.
I did write some things down.
So I just want to give you the opportunity to share what you wrote.
Let's see. I talked about lowering the temperature in your bedroom earlier
Mhm.
and about drinking small amounts of cold water before you go to bed. And let's see what else. Shit. Uh, okay. I think basically we talked about a lot of stuff that I have on this paper. So I think we're all right.
Okay.
All right.
Yay.
I am
All right.
worthy of gentleness in every stage of life.
Wonderful.
Can I share one thing real
Absolutely.
quick? So I dug this out. This was and a picture of me, and I'm going to share
Yes,
it too,
please
because
share.
this is our connection. So on February 7th, 2021, I wrote, and it's not eloquent, y'all. So it's not like it's not a sonora writing. But it was what came to me at the time when I was journaling. I said, today I realize that I'm approaching midlife. I have to give myself grace and enter into this stage of life with passion pushing me forward, love keeping me grounded. I have to fight for my peace like my life depends on it. Being creative has to be a part of my daily life. It's okay that I don't remember all the little details like I used to. I will not let my mind dim. I will continue to work out, eat healthy, learn, and grow. I love you, Tiffany. You will age gracefully and bless others with your fervor, passion, kindness, and most of all, love. God is, and this was like a reminder, God has given us power, love, and a sound mind, because I really needed that at that time. Life changes will come, but they will never defeat you.
Mm.
I say thank you.
That was phenomenal.
So
Awesome.
maybe
Thank you for sharing it.
Awesome.
maybe we do that for ourselves, right? Just to write us a love letter, and remind yourself, one, that you're not in it alone. You have a village. Two, just be grounded in just who you are. And that's where this picture comes in. I got this picture from my aunt last year, but around like that December time frame, I put it in my on my dresser. So every morning I say, "Good morning, precious."
Oh.
I say, "Good morning, precious. I will never let anyone hurt you ever again." And that includes myself. So that's my reminder of doing the work, taking the supplements, working out, drinking water, sharing our truths, because she's precious to me.
Is that you?
That's me.
Oh, we gotta get that to the camera, somebody. Somebody.
Yes.
I got
Thank you for sharing.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was impactful, and it's aligning and where I wanted to go. So thank you for leading us here. So Tiffany, you started us off, and I'm going to go this way. The question is, what would you tell? Well, okay, here it is. My message to my younger self is ... So thank you. That was a great segue. Now, what is the message to your younger self?
My message to my younger self is to have faith in God, and to everything is going to work out, even though you may not think it ever will. It will.
Yes. Okay, good.
How do I top that journal? No,
Right.
it take time for yourself. Be gentle. Talk to your friends. Your friends are your lifeline. That's why we're here. And this is why we're here right now, because we opened up about things. I would tell myself that I would continue to, I don't know, those mainly just, it will be okay. And that I know that I reached a part in my life where maybe I'm talking about all the negative of Perry, but also there's this new me that's formed, this confident person I never was, and this person who advocates for things they believe in, and that you're going to feel really good when that comes. And I never had that till I was going through perimenopause, and I'm surrounded by wonderful people, and I would want myself to know that I will find my tribe, and I will find my people, and that's definitely what I'd love to tell myself, that it's all going to be okay.
Mm.
You know?
Right.
And the message to my younger self would be, write it out, don't shout it out. You know? Write it down, girl. Your poetries are really moving. They're really inspirational, motivational. So write it down, Sparkle, and then shout it out. Okay. And then here you go. Wow.
My message to my younger self. Mm. Well, my message to my younger self is to always be true to yourself. To stay positive and to know in the midst of everything that God's got me.
Mm.
That's my message to my younger self. And I want to just take a moment to thank everybody, especially you and all of you. And let's do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. My message to my younger self. Okay. I probably would tell myself, I would probably tell myself to accept yourself and to accept your own and to be yourself. Have faith and to seek assistance through patience and prayer.
Amen.
Mm.
So we offered a lot of great stories, questions. We shared a lot. I just wanted to share with people who are listening at home to try some breath work, as a instructor with breath work, mind flex, chair flex, mindfulness moment, take a mindfulness moment, repeat some of these affirmations that were said to yourself, or if you can't think of anything, just be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, keep repeating that. Take deep breaths while you do it. There's no wrong or right way of breathing. Just breathe it in and push it out. Inhale and push it out. Movement like stretching, walking, sit to stands, anything lower like Sister Tioka shared, something like that, some squats. Herbal teas, vitamins, supplements, and dietary shifts. So, maybe eat one less piece of cake. I'm here. And then sisterhood, like we're doing here, we're showing you what it looks like if you didn't know. I wasn't born with no sisters. This is what it looks like. I've acquired sisters along my way. Journaling, write it down. If you don't know how to write, just says I love you. Write your name. I love you. Write your name until you figure out what to write. Prayer and therapy. And the last affirmation that I wanted to share with everyone is I honor the wisdom in my womb, the fire in my soul, and the power in my shift. So I want to invite everybody to take note, be mindful, and this is Reality Speaks TV. This was SisStar Cipher being held for the very first time at the Carol L. Crooms Business, Education, Cultural, and Activity Center. This is real people, real talk, and real time. Thank you for listening. Good night.